Horsepower, what's going on? Ooh. Y'all can do better than that.
There we go.
The It Doesn't Matter podcast is back. If y'all don't remember who I am, I'm the notorious one. I am Dom. I'm here, the man behind the computer screen. Strap facts. If I don't know something, I'm going to ask this man. You guys ask this man. Let's try and stump him tonight.
Come on, man. Better night.
And this guy next to me on the left, the Dominican Dream,
Baby.
Papi Platano. That's Abel right there. But we got a special guest, WWF legend, ECW Hardcore legend. He's a 8-time WWE Hardcore Champion, a 2-time ECW Tag Team Champion with Lance Storm. He is the ECW World Champion. He's what was I about to say?
He's not just the coolest. He's not just the best.
He's just incredible. I was hot right now. I was on a roll. Let me try that one more time, brother. He's not just the coolest. He's not just the best. He's just incredible. I was high. I was on a roll right there.
Sure
And
was.
you fell off.
Wow.
There's a clip somewhere.
Oh, Lord.
We're live, pal.
Justin, what's going on? Thank you for being here.
Oh, it's my
Horsepower.
pleasure. Thank you guys for showing up. I'm sorry I was a bit late, as usual, but thank you for your patience, and it's really nice to see you guys. Thank you. Very happy to be here.
All right, let's get on the way. Ask you a few questions.
Let's go.
So how did you get into the business?
Wow. I mean, things were so different. I mean, are you guys do you like old school stuff? Do you want me to just talk? Like, I'm going to shoot like the shit like we're just sitting in a bar.
Hell
If that's
yeah.
cool with the program. I think it's just
Let her rip. It doesn't matter.
It's more honest. And basically, dude, I was a kid. I was just Waterbury, Connecticut, born and raised, Connecticut boy. I loved wrestling as a fan. And the older I got in like high school and stuff, I wasn't good at school. It just wasn't my thing. I wish I would have changed. Looking back, I wish it was different. But anyways, I had this dream of being a pro wrestler, but I graduated high school in '91, so we're talking like the '80s and stuff. There wasn't, there's obviously no internet, and wrestling was still very much kayfabe. I was very much still like, nobody really talked about how you break into the business. There weren't wrestling schools everywhere around here. So when I graduated high school in '91, I was working at you guys know Stop and Shop Grocery? I was working as a bag boy at Stop and Shop. And, just on one of my breaks, 15-minute break to eat, drink a soda, whatever, I was, you read the wrestling magazines because that was still a thing. And in the back of one of them, it was like Pro Wrestling Illustrated, there was an advertisement for the Hart Brothers, Bret and Owen Hart. Their family had a wrestling school in Calgary. And that was like the first time I always wanted to get into it, but without the internet, you don't know how. It's not like, who you're going to meet. I'm just a kid. Anyways, long story short, I called the number, that they had a number and all that. I called, I inquired, and a year later, I'd worked enough hours to save up money. It was like $3,000 at the time. And I flew myself to Calgary, Alberta, Canada to train to be a pro wrestler with the Harts. So, yeah. And again, it was just like I had nothing else to do, right? It's like I was like, I don't want to go to college. I didn't know, you know what I mean? I didn't have that thing. So I was like, well, this is what I really want. Why not, right? I was stupid. I was naive because knowing what I know today about the wrestling business, I would have been scared shitless. I just was like, oh, if you work hard and train and, you'll make it, sure, why not? It's like anything else. So they say. Little did I know. But that's how it was that innocent, yeah.
All right, so a question for you. Growing up as a kid, who were you a fan of?
Being in this area, it was usually mostly WWE or WWF at the time. I remember Hulk being real big. Hulk Hogan was on his first major title run. But my mom and dad, this is when I was younger, maybe 10, 12, they had family friends in Danbury, Connecticut. Here in Waterbury, even though we had cable, they didn't have WTBS. But in Danbury, every time they went over, just to drink, hang out, spend a Saturday with their buddies, the kids would come. And at 6:05 Eastern on WTBS, it was WCW Saturday Night. The old school, from the little studio, Flair, the Horsemen, all that. And that's the only time I could watch it. So from there, it was just like, wow. It was just, and that was it. From there, I was wearing spandex, wrestling in the backyard on my mattress, cutting my head as like a 12-year-old, trying to, before the sheets and stuff. I just you figured it out. But that's what's amazing, and I'm not trying to, and I'm sure I'll get to this. There's an amazing set of young men and women in this business today. But it's like, dude, and I'm not trying to diss the business, but these kids coming up doing the stuff they're doing, it's like, dude, I was better in the backyard at 17 than these guys are today on AEW. Not all of them, of course, but it's like a lot of them, you're like, what are you watching? Dude, wrestling is not that hard. So seriously, if you really see what it is, it's what you get. You know what I mean? It's like you sell, you pretend, you cosplay, kind of. That's what I always did. And it's like, anyways, I digress, but I'll get into that later. But yeah.
Sounds like you went really hard for the WCW Saturday night instead of the WWE shows.
Yeah, it was just so different. And
yeah?
I never saw anybody like Flair before.
Yeah.
Just because WWF was, very much polished, and Hogan. And,
yeah.
I remember, and this is going to really date me, but I remember this was 1983. It had to be 83. We still had, we had 2 sets of TVs, and we were middle class. My mom and dad both worked factory jobs, but we lived in a 3-family home. I think we were on the 2nd floor before we owned a home, and I had to be 7 or 8 years old. And I had a black and white TV with rabbit ears, and we got WWOR Channel 9, which was the channel that Vince Jr. had played their syndication. And we had the big color TV in the living room, but I had the black and white with the rabbit ears, and that's how I saw Hogan beat Iron Sheik. And I know it sounds like really old, but it was just wild. And as a kid, you're like, you know what I mean? You don't know. Nobody's telling. You know what I mean? There was still. Is it real? Is it fake? Mm-hmm. You kind of knew, but you didn't.
Yeah, you're still.
And if you told anybody, they wouldn't. Except people would say, "Oh, that shit's fake," or that. So it's like you always, and you always defended it to your core, especially as a kid.
Yeah. Still, even as an adult, I still defend.
I still do. Yeah.
Wrestling's real. People are fake. Remember that.
Bro, for a fake-ass business, I could barely move. So
there you go.
You tell me.
Yeah.
They say when you get slammed, it's like what? Like being in a car crash?
I wouldn't say that, but I would say that the trauma is definitely, it's not, anytime I wrestled anybody, I could go on and punch everybody in this room, and you guys would barely feel a little air. It was the other stuff. It was the bumps and the slams, and that's what really hurt. We were trying to be very careful with one another, but the ring was unforgiving. Same thing. And that's the thing. I would when I was in ECW, I really hated doing this, but Paul Heyman would always tell me to when to use the kendo stick, and I hated it because I couldn't hold. It's going to look like shit if I hold back. Yeah. It's going to look really fake. So it was almost like you're apologizing beforehand. And I never wanted to do. I always did I would rather do something else, because there's a lot of ways to entertain people. I would always try to not do that, because again, we're making money together. And if I give it to you, eventually you're going to give it to me. So if I take care of you, hopefully you do the same to me. So we're not killing one another. We're protecting each other. So that was always the mentality, at least for me. And I know for many others too. So.
All right. Well, I got a question for you. How did you get into the WWE, and what led you to that character, Aldo Montoya?
Wow.
Because I know you said you got trained by Brett and Owen.
Yes.
So maybe that was a connection?
No. Well, I get. Well, here's the story. When I went to Calgary, I went there, like I said, I graduated summer of 91, Holy Cross High School, Waterbury, Connecticut. In 1992, I'd saved up enough money to go to Calgary, and what they do is, and they do it a little different than some places do around here. You go for 2 months at a time, so everybody starts at one place, and you know what I mean. So if there's 5 or 6, 7, 8 guys coming in, you all get the same instructions, same stuff. So I trained from I believe it was the 4th of July weekend till the end of August. I was finished training in Calgary. And I also got to work my first 10 matches on an indie level up there. So then I fly back home. I kind of say bye to Calgary because there's nothing out there. You're working indies literally for nothing. You're paying to be out there. You're not getting I wasn't even getting $50 to wrestle. So anyways, didn't really know anybody here. There was no connections in Connecticut that I knew of. Again, the internet is such a huge thing. I don't think kids in the business today understand how much easier it is. So I literally had to take a chance because the Harts told you this. So I remember the WWF came for a house show in New Haven. Remember the old New Haven Coliseum?
Yes. Yep.
It was, before they tore it down. They had a house show there in 93. And the Harts always told you, if you go to a show, bring your bag, introduce yourself. Got it? Because, let's say somebody doesn't show, it's there's a travel issue, whatever. I'm just here. So I introduced myself. I go back. I had balls, dude. I don't know how I was 19 years old walking backstage. No pass, no nothing. Don't know a single soul. And I walk back there, and I meet Tony Gurria, who was an agent, a.k.a. what you guys call producers today. Old school cat. I don't know if you guys know Tony Gurria. But he used to be a WWF Tag Team Champion, famous guy. Been with the company forever. And I said, sir, my name is, PJ Polacco. I was trained by the Harts. I live in Waterbury. I just wanted to come and, I brought my bag. If I could just, if you need anybody, I'm here. So he's like, well, we're good tonight, thank you. But pull up a chair. So he let me watch the show from the back, behind the curtain. Very kind of him, So I don't bother anybody. I don't fuck with nobody in the locker room or nothing. And after, show's over, cool experience and all. And I go and shake his hand and say, thank you, sir. I really appreciate the opportunity. It was very kind of you. And he goes, well, if you're interested, give me your number. We're starting a new show in Manhattan called Monday Night Raw. And we're going to need guys to do jobs on Monday Night Raw, and you're trained by the Harts, and you could use a little experience, so we'd like to have you. So we exchanged information, and my first match, because of me having the balls to kind of go down there and show my face and make the connection, and I got down there and I started doing jobs. My first match was against Yokozuna on the old Monday Night Raw stage, the very old school, and it started from there. And then you start meeting people, and of course, when you're working that close to Vince, eventually you meet people. He sees you, he's commentating you, so you really are getting an audition. People were always very short-sighted on doing jobs. It's like, if you do back in the old days, if you do a job, you're putting yourself out there. You're never going to get another opportunity. You're going to be labeled a jobber, and that could be true if you suck. But I'm being serious. But I was young enough and had enough. I guess to. They were looking to move up. It's not like, again, back then, it's not like they had a performance center. They didn't have an NXT. The indies were not a thriving thing. It was the NWA, WCW, and WWE. So, hey, here's a 19, 20-year-old kid. He could work good. He bumps good. Let's give this kid a shot. And again, it took me about a year of doing jobs and showing them I was, But every time I went out there, I just tried to work as hard as I could and show them, just kind of do what I was told and be on time and stay in shape. And, I was blessed. And also, and I'm another not spoiler, but what helped me was in 1994, remember when they did the double Undertaker?
Yes.
the two Undertakers, they needed, again, they don't have a performance center. They literally put a ring up in Stamford, like at the TV studio, because there was two separate buildings. There's the main office, and the bigger, what people don't know, it's in an industrial park, is the actual studios where they have all the television cameras, actual, like a full-on production studio. They set up a ring in there, and they brought me in to work with Mark, real Undertaker, Mark Calloway, and Brian Lee, who was doing the fake Undertaker. So they just wanted me kind of as a bump dummy. I did that for a whole week because I lived in Waterbury. They're in Stamford. It was, they pay me $250 a day, good money for me, and I'm just serving them, for whatever, work they need. And at the end, the last day, Vince McMahon and Pat Patterson, who was, one of the heads of creative at the time, came down to watch like a full dress rehearsal. And then they just started asking me questions. They're like, "Kid, you're pretty good. Where were you trained? What nationality are you?" And the whole thing with the Portuguese Man of War was they already had the Man of War character drawn up. They were just looking for a Portuguese kid to play the character. So again, I was just in the right place at the right time. Other than that, a lot of it is, like in anything, Hollywood, anything, a lot of it's luck, persistence and luck, just like always show up. And the more you show up, the luckier you know what I mean? It's like buying a lotto ticket. If you don't play, you can't win.
That's true.
Yeah, I was just trying to always at least show up, So hope that was a good answer.
Do you have an impression of Vince McMahon pitching you the Portuguese Man of War?
It's like this, right?
No, he really didn't pitch it at all. But what I do remember is at first they had the Portuguese Man of War at first was a soccer player. Because this was, if I remember correctly, and I'm pretty sure I do, it was 1994. It was time of the World Cup. And the business in the WWE was down in America. It was really, we were doing 2,500 people, 3,000 people at Madison Square Garden. Yeah, I remember those times, dude. Like, everything was, like, always empty. But anyways, so they were looking we would make our money going international. Germany, England, always sold out. So they were looking for, like how Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, when he went to London and to England, he was like the big hero. So they were looking to get more guys with certain nationalities. So I was just, that kind of right place, right time they were trying to go into not only Portugal, because Portugal's a small country in Europe, but South America, Brazil, they speak Portuguese, and I could speak fluent Portuguese. That's how I, grew up that way. They wanted me to kind of be able to communicate to the Brazilian, that speak Portuguese. So, even though that didn't end up happening, because that market fell through, but that was the initial reason that I got picked, which was still cool, really cool.
Do you ever do any localized Brazilian promos?
Nothing, no. No.
That would have been cool.
Bro, I never. It's so funny because kids I can't imagine how it is for kids these days because you look into one of these little cameras and you do like a wrestling promo for your indie promotion in front of like 10 people. Like I never did a promo because I was a jobber, right? And it's all the experience I had. So now you get hired and they throw a camera on you. Oh, you're on live Raw. 3, 2, 1, go. And I'm like. I don't know what to say. I didn't have a character. Like now, if they threw that on me, I'm like, okay, what's your character? What's your deal? Like I was just so lost. And your whole thing when you're up there is like, I don't want to offend anybody. Because back then it was doggy. I mean, it was still like the old school veterans. Like if you did somebody's move or if you said something wrong or I was always I was walking on eggshells everywhere I went. I was just trying to please everyone and, just do the best I could. I was so grateful to be there. But it was just, I had no idea what I was doing. And you could tell, it was just like, I was just like, and I remember I fucked up so bad in the first time I did a promo. I think it wasn't a live Raw, it was a taped, remember when they did Wrestling Superstars?
Yes.
And stuff? I fucked up the finish and the promo so bad that I had to go back out and reshoot it later in the night because I was just so nervous. I didn't know what I was doing. And when you're on live TV, there's no, you can't be like, oh, take two, sorry, didn't, so. But anyways, it worked out.
So how long were you the Portuguese Man of War?
94 to 96.
Really?
Well, no, 97 actually. I left WWF for ECW in 97. Partially because the story was, because I had done so much, and obviously, I was happy to have the Aldo character, but I knew it was kind of a jabroni character. I knew it was, and they knew it too. It was just kind of a way to get this kid some work. He's got a mask on. We could, someday maybe take the mask off and give him another. I knew it was a temporary thing, but the thing was, I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, middle of 97, maybe late 96. Scott Hall, Kevin Nash got called to go to WCW, and they were my friends, and I was traveling with them, and they were really grooming me and helping me to learn the business. And when my contract was coming up for renewal, I went to Vince and said, I don't want, because we have a 1-year thing on our, like when the contract is about to expire, you have 90 days to say, I don't want it, or else it will renew 1 year if you don't say anything. It'll automatically renew. So I said, Vince, I do not want it to renew. I want to negotiate. And Scott and Kevin were doing big things with the NWO, et cetera. They had pull down there, and they're like, bro, we'll get you paid. Come down here. So I went to Stamford, got a meeting with Vince, just me and the old man in his office, exit 9. And I told him, I had balls, dude. And not to be mean, I just said, sir, I appreciate everything you've done, but I feel like, because I was getting good. Like, this is pre-ECW, like pre-Just Incredible, where, like, I was wrestling 250 days a year on the road. So my shit was, like, I was tight, dude, but nobody was getting to witness it. I was doing opening matches with Chris Candido. Like, and Candido was tight. So we were, like, rocking it every night, like, really putting on great matches. So I'm like, now is the time. The business is hot. Change this gimmick, do something completely different. And I went to Vince, and he said no, which surprised me. I was like, he's like, you're a $7,500,000 a year talent. Go ahead, leave. Thanks. But he's like, no, we developed you and your skill. We want to use your skill. So the plan he gave me was, and Vince is always way smarter than anybody else in the room. He's like, go to Memphis, learn how to work as a heel, then come back up and debut in WWE as a heel character in like 97. So I did that. I went down there and worked as a heel. I was there the whole time Rocky was there. And like if you watch Young Rock, the time he was in Memphis, I was there with him that entire time.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool. But you're down there. They're giving you $500 a week, and that's like, okay, that's paying my bills up north. But how am I paying for my rental car, my hotel, my food down south? Because I'm making $40 a night in Memphis, working for Jerry Lawler. And this is like pre-NXT. This is like what NXT will become, And after 6 weeks, I ran into Chris Candido, who was Paul Heyman's right-hand man. And he said, look, dude, I want you to come to ECW. I think it would be great. We'll work it out. So Paul ended up wanting to use me, worked out a deal with Vince where I'm a tool. My contract would just turn into ECW because Vince and Paul were working together anyway. So really there was no, Just Incredible was going to stay with Paul, with ECW or with WWE. You know what I mean? I was never leaving that grasp. So I ended up going to ECW and I went from making $500 a week with WWE to $2,000 a week with ECW, which is wild if you think about it. Like, you think, like, I'm working with WWE, I'm going to get a lot more money, and Heyman would pay me, that's $100,000 a year. Yeah. And you're working, it was a cool, like, now you understand, like, that's what it's like to be a top guy. Even though it's a smaller company, I understood, like, and it was the way it was supposed to be, I guess. I can't watch this shit. It drives me nuts.
Give me PTSD.
Not really. I just enjoy. Sad thing is, it feels like it's just, it feels like it was yesterday, and those were so great of times. I don't think anybody even understands how great these times were, because we all loved each other so much, and we're all partying. Like, we're literally like, I mean, it's this. I'm drinking. I'm doing a line of blow. My music's hitting. It's like, yeah, I'll be right there. Fuck it. And then you go out there and you rock it. It was. Oh God, there were so many. Jerry Lynn. Jerry Lynn was certainly the one I had the best matches with. A lot of people always say that the match we had at what was it? Heat Wave '98. We were the opening match. It was bad. I mean, it was a very great match. But then again, I always loved working with Sabu, Dreamer. I know Dreamer could somewhat be boring. Sandman was amazing, bro. The debauchery, dude. It was more interesting behind the scenes than in the match. But we had but it was so cool, and Raven. I had some great matches with Raven. I had a hell of a title run, believe it or not. If you actually go back, I think Gabe Sapolsky. You know Gabe, right?
Yes.
Gabe Sapolsky. I think Gabe wrote in one of the PW Insiders that I may have possibly had, and this is not me saying it. This is him. The best run of title defenses in ECW heavyweight title history, because I was just working with such top-notch guys and being allowed to kind of, paint your picture, do what you want to do.
Yeah, the
It's
freedom.
Like, how cool is that?
Yeah, when I saw you with the title and I was seeing all the guys you wrestled, I was like, this guy's got talent.
Yeah, it was.
Why didn't we see this before? And it's like you said, one guy sees one thing.
One
and
thing, and then,
it speaks a lot to what Paul sees, and if he ever had that backing, AEW would be this.
Yeah. It was just, man. It was so. But what is so special about this is, you could never create this today.
No.
Because it was so punk rock. It was just like.
It was authentic.
Yeah.
But it was authentic because with social media it couldn't happen. There'd be people bitching about, oh, you shouldn't say, just all the stuff that's going on. Like, this was just like, we had to be something else. We had to be offensive. We had to be crazy.
Yep.
And he knew how to kind of do that. Because if you really remember correctly, in '95, before the Monday Night Wars, right before the Monday Night Wars, WCW was a clown show. It was like the Hogan era, and like a lot of those shitty heel WCW guys, like with those horrible gimmicks, like the Shark and like the, real bad gimmicks.
Yeah.
And WWE was doing Waylon Mercy and, again, like horrible gimmicks, where then ECW was just like, we're going to play punk rock music, hip hop music. We're going to keep it to this little thing. But if that was where Paul started coming into trouble too, and that's why it has such a limited shelf life, is corporately, nobody can, you can't keep, you know what I mean? You're bound to hit problems. But we were the cool kids for a while, and at that time there was nothing like that, and it felt good to be part of the cool kids. It's like you wore that ECW shirt, it was like a badge of honor, especially then. It was like, dude, you know what I mean? It meant more than money. It was, I don't know. Well, I'm a mark.
I would actually argue that you guys are still the cool kids to this day.
But again, it's like,
Yeah, maybe some of that stuff wouldn't play, but I showed some.
But it was
some
just,
of the clips.
it was just so, it was honestly innocent, and it was done and also done with respect to the business.
Yes.
Like we were respecting the game more than anybody. Like the veterans that came in, like it was something special. Like we were the last of the guys that really truly respected professional wrestling in the old ways, like in the ways of Terry Funk and those guys, and having Terry in there too, that really helped, because he was that guy to teach us, like I got to work with Terry Funk, many matches, many one-on-one matches, even after ECW with what was it, 3PW, what Blue Meanie ran? But anyways, like Terry Funk was I mean, to be working with Terry Funk, I mean, he was like a star in the 70s. It's wild. And the knowledge that man has, you know, it was just good stuff, you know, really good stuff.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I know you talk about honoring the greats from the past. Who would you say would be the Terry Funk for this era, so that way that would lead AEW to the certain era like you guys had? I don't know if
that's
it
a great
will,
question.
but who would be that
question.
guy, in your opinion?
Maybe some of you will agree, maybe some of you won't. But he certainly, to me, is that guy, is Tommy Dreamer.
Wow.
Only because he to this day, I mean, Tommy, I'm not talking shit, but Tommy always came from money. Tommy didn't need wrestling. No, I'm serious. His parents were rich.
We heard the stories.
Tommy came from money. He's a what was he? Like a Yonkers boy, had money, always had money. And so he didn't need it. So he put everything he had. What I mean by that is sometimes you have to make decisions because of money.
Yep.
I certainly had to make decisions because of money. I don't have it. I got to protect my family. I don't have to bother him for $60. Anyways, it's a joke. It really happened, but it's a joke. But you know what I'm saying? He came from money. So what I'm saying is he could take chances that a lot of us couldn't take. And he also has a true love and spirit for the business that very few do. And he loves and respects it more, if not, I think more than anybody really, that I know. So I mean, I know it's not a sexy pick because he's not the greatest wrestler in the world. He's kind of, you know, Tommy's Tommy. But for his love of the game, I would say he's the Terry Funk of our generation. And I think he would be very happy to hear that, you know. I think he would.
Yeah, that caught me off guard. But when you think about it, all the stuff that he knows, wrestling, producing,
yeah,
I would bring him in and be like, hey, Tommy, I need your brain real quick.
Yeah.
What do we need to do?
Yeah, and that's the thing is there are very few guys with the knowledge that he has. And he also, and a lot of people don't know this too, he worked for the WWE in the office from like that 2001, 2002, like alliance period.
Yep.
You know, and it's like I was fired in 2002, came back 2006. He was there that whole time just working in the office.
Wow.
You know, so I mean that's again, I don't know what he actually, you know, but still you're learning the game. You're working with people, and that's, you know.
All right, so before we get to the alliance, I want to stick with ECW. ECW was a revolution. We want to have Stone Cold Steve Austin because of ECW.
That's true.
You guys put the Attitude Era on the map. They stole from y'all. Everybody clearly knows that. If you guys not familiar with ECW, check it out because the Sandman was out there drinking beers every night, cursing up a storm, and, you know, whooping ass. And that's what Stone Cold Steve Austin was doing.
And I've known Steve. I was good friends with Steve since I've been friends with Steve. To this day, I'm still friends with Steve. I still talk to Steve. I started really, my, in between doing jobs for WWF in 92 and 93, I think it was Paul Roma's from Connecticut.
Really?
So Paul Roma got me a gig doing jobs for WCW when he was doing the Four Horsemen. Remember that little period?
Yep.
So I went down there for a weekend, and he was traveling with Austin when he was doing the Hollywood Blondes. So I've known Steve for a very long time. So Steve was. I mean, that's just Steve being Steve, man. He was a lot. Again, like I'm not comparing myself to Steve Austin in any way, shape, or form, but what ECW did was give you a canvas, and you do what you want to do with it. And you know, that's what's going on in Steve's head. You know, he felt marginalized and held back in WCW. He was arguably one of the best in the company at the time, and you know, and here he is getting fired for having an injury, for working really hard. And I remember when he got hurt, because he got hurt, it was, I believe, if I'm not wrong, it was him and Brian Pillman against Shane Douglas and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. those amazing tag team matches they were having for the WCW tag titles, which if any of you guys want to watch, they're amazing gangbuster matches. And that's how Steve got hurt. So like, yeah. And it was just, WCW was a joke, you know, and they had no vision. And obviously and I know Bischoff a little bit, and Eric will admit, and I think a lot of people admit today, that and that's the thing, when money's flowing freely, nobody gives a fuck. Dude, we could be running WCW, we could love the business, but dude, we're getting fat checks in the mail. It's like, fuck it, you know?
Yep.
Do we really want, you know what I mean? Like, not everybody's always into that mode of like, let's rock the universe. Like, people are I'd be happy today with making $100,000 working for any wrestling company. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, when you get into that position and you're not expected to kind of produce, you know. But the history books will tell you that, you know, they obviously fucked up huge with Stone Cold. You know, who would have known? Yeah. I couldn't have told you that Stone Cold that stunning Steve Austin from the Hollywood Blondes, as good as he was, would have been that guy. But he had to also go through hell to be that guy. Because when I was in the WWE, he was the ringmaster.
Yep.
Right before he got Stone Cold, he was doing the ringmaster, and I remember I worked with him on a 2-week tour, all throughout. Like, we did those little shitty, what do you call those? The music tents, like the music festivals, like in Rhode Island, like those 2,500 seat little amphitheater. In the round. I worked with Austin all over the place with those. And literally, it's like, this is where Steve was, and this is how he wanted to make it. He goes, I'm like, Steve, what do you want to do today? And he goes, I don't know, kid. Could be 5 minutes, could be 20 minutes, could be 3 seconds. You know, and literally, like, sometimes we'd go out there, and he'd feel the people. And this was when he was still, it wasn't Stone Cold. He would feel the people. It would be, go to shake his hand, kick, stunner. Next night, we go 20 minutes. Move for move, false finishes. Like, I'm almost beating him. You never knew. So that's how he was sharpening up his tool. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just kind of went out there, and it was like a real artist. Like, you know, I'll see what these people are giving me. And so, like, he wasn't being a dick. Like, I don't know what we're going to do. He was saying, let me hear this, and this is kind of my time. Let me create this. And he was super cool with it. It was great. Dude, one of the nicest guys on planet Earth. But he is that guy. He is totally that guy. That is, Steve Austin is Steve Austin.
I can't imagine what kind of audience Steve Austin has to see to say, Stunner, done. What kind of crowd is that?
Bro, that's happened to me. That has happened to me. But it's also happened that, like, again, like I said, like, we'd go 20 minutes. And I had Jake Roberts with me. Because that was the time, I know you guys probably don't remember this little tidbit, but Jake Roberts was managing Aldo. Because he was like, I was like, you know, trying to make it, and he was like this newly reformed guy, so he was managing me. The gimmick on TV only lasted a couple of months. But like, Jake would be out there, and they'd be ribbing me. Like, you know, he goes, Steve would be working me over in the corner. He goes, oh, God damn it, Jake. Don't threaten me. I'll fucking give this kid a backdrop. Oh, God damn it. Don't give him a backdrop, Steve. Shoot me off. Give me a backdrop. I'm like, what the fuck? And they'd both be laughing. He goes, and then Jake would be like, Steve, I dare you, don't shoot him off and give him a goddamn suit. Fucking with me. But that's the kind of shit we would do, just having fun.
Yeah.
You know? And I know it was met with love, and of course I never got hurt. You know, but it was, that's good shit. Good shit.
It's like,
you know what, man? I was super blessed. Nothing crazy. I've never had a surgery, not one surgery. But the biggest problem, and it started very early, were concussions. I've had well over 20, and I'm very like I got the Shawn Michaels thing happening. It's not funny, but it is sort of. I try to make light of it. But I've had like too many, like, and this is where like you guys, like now when I hear of CTE protocol, I kind of laugh because I remember wrestling in ECW. I worked with Jerry Lynn. I took a power bomb off the top rope got completely knocked out, cold. We're in Buffalo. It's a drive for us. I'm a Waterbury guy, so I got my little Volkswagen Jetta. You know, I'm still not making any money. You know, my wife, I just recently married. She don't drive stick. It's a stick shift, so I'm still concussed driving the car because it's the only way. And I got to get to the town. I got to get to, I think, Queens, New York for Friday, then Philly for the arena on Saturday. Passed out. Every 30 minutes pulling over on I-90, getting over the New York State Turnpike, puking, just laying there shaking, drive 30 more minutes. Like, it took me like forever to get from Buffalo to here. And then Paul, I don't even know, he didn't want to do it, but he gave me Friday off. I don't know how it was supposed to work that way, but Saturday I had to have a 2 out of 3 falls match with Jerry Lynn, doing power, again, and one day, no concussion protocol, no. So we did that shit all the time. So when they talk about concussions and stuff, that shit, it was primal. It was not cool. It was knowing what we know today. I was in the ring for this. Sandman's return from WCW. Hold on. Yeah, I was in the ring. Lance, yeah, there I am with the jean shorts. We were both in the ring, dude. I never heard a crowd pop like this, ever. Because it was a surprise. They kept him in the van all night. And, like, there I am. God, I was skinny. Bro. And I knew the people were so... It was the loudest pop ever I've heard in the ECW arena. And I was like, there's no way I'm getting hit. I sent poor Jason Knight, my manager. He always took the first shot because I'm like, fuck you, dude. I'm not getting this. I know enough. I'm like, you go. I'll powder out. Thank you. Thank you, no thank you. See, you got to be smart like that, though, too, dude. I was not going to be that guy.
You only got so many bumps in that car, so might as well save them.
Bump card. That's goddamn right. Who taught you that one?
I listen.
Very good. That's a very good.
If I was younger, I would have listened.
That's very good. No, it's true though, man. Human body can only take so much.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. It's more. I mean, we're all different physically. To me, it always was the head. Like my back's. I'm 52. I'm fat. I'm way out of shape, and that's okay. I admit that. But like, I could take. It's to me, it's all the head shit. Again, starting early with the concussions. To me, my biggest thing is the head stuff. If I could stay away from taking big concussion kind of bumps, I could still do anything. You know, but I never do chair shots. I never take cane shots. You know, I have no choice.
We're up close with the crowds in ECW. Did you guys have different mindsets when you went into the crowd, knowing that
Well,
the crowd around you, if you want to hurt anybody around you, did it change your attitude a little bit?
Yeah, you were. Yeah. You were always aware. Like I don't think ever. Honestly, I could say I never hurt anybody. Like I always knew, because when I'm with a guy, like if you and I were wrestling, I would always, I'm laughing with you. It's like, dude, let's go, motherfucker. You know, we're getting some pussy tonight. Let's go. Just having fun. I'm just saying, I shouldn't have said that, but I'm just saying we're saying silly stuff to laugh and make each other comfortable.
Yeah.
And they're in no way, I might even put my finger up his nose, rib him, like Sandman would always grab my balls. But we're fucking with each other. Keep it loose. You're keeping it loose. Because it's not a real thing. This way you could, because sometimes, man, there's some people that get lost in this shit. That see blinders. They're like, oh, this shit, the crowd's hyped. Dude, when the crowd's hyped, it's just like, oh, I just have a night off. Word. Yeah. Let's go. It's easy. Some people aren't that comfortable, and they see it and they think they have to. I'm still going all out, but I go all out in a different. It's like how can I explain? I don't know how to explain it, but it's like if you're a comedian or if you're an actor, or if you're anything, a good ball player, just being loose. I'm good because I'm loose out there. It's like if I'm a basketball player, I'm just raining shots and they're going in, then you're loose. So when that's happening, I'm loose. Therefore, I am better. Therefore, I can work lighter and take better bumps and create better. I'm not worried about some psychopath trying to hurt me for real. You know? Yeah, the looser I am, the better I am. You know? Because if I'm having fun, then the people are having fun. I'll guarantee to entertain the people. You know, and that was the best thing too. And ECW Arena always had the people always said, "Oh, it's the worst place because they talk shit and they're so mean." Bro, I was just the most self-deprecating. Like I almost did the Eminem 8 Mile thing. If you guys are familiar,
Yep.
I was just like, "Yeah, I know I suck. I know I'm not as good." But you know, and I kind of came from that mindset of, I don't take myself that seriously, so let's just go on and have fun with this ride, and we'll all enjoy it later, and I'll go meet you guys outside for a beer. And it worked, you know, and it worked, you know, but some people won't do that, you know, a lot of people don't. Those are the marks. Those are the guys that are the marks, you know, and there's unfortunately too many marks. Like there's not enough guys with that kind of feeling about the business today. Like I thought AEW in 2019 was going to save professional wrestling. I was so excited. Dude, for so long we did not have an alternative. Now we have a real alternative, and boy, it has gone so south. And I don't know why. I don't know why. And there's no reason for it. And I don't think they're going to get it back either.
Do you think maybe it's because certain guys have left back to
Nope.
the WWE?
Nope.
Just
Nope.
honeymoon's over and just.
Nope. It's, to me, it is and I don't know Tony Khan. I've never met him. I've never spoken to him. I just think that it is a complete lack of leadership. Because Paul Heyman was so smart. He would have, like, Svengali'd that whole thing. He would have figured out some way to make it like, what we're doing is the shit.
Yep.
And he has all the resources, finances, and, you know, and he had something very good at first. But, again, I don't know what it is.
I mean, from my opinion, I know you were under Paul's rule, but Paul did grow up in the business, like as a photographer.
Yes.
He ran with what was his name? Freddie Blassie, I think.
Yes, he did.
So he was under that learning tree where he just, all right, what are we doing here? Why are we doing here? And I don't think Tony Khan has that guy where it's like, all right, we're doing this because X.
Right.
We're making money because Y. He doesn't have that one guy where it's like he's still young, he's still learning.
Oh, he's a very young guy.
And I think he's gonna make his mistakes now.
Listen. I want them to do good
Me
so
too.
bad. I would, but the thing is, I think he's almost so cautious to who, because he's smart enough, because he works in sport, he works in entertainment, big time companies, big time, you know, sports, you know, whatever things. But I think he's like so worried about getting played. Like, I'm sorry, but the Young Bucks, like to really be, and I got the appeal of the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Cody, you know, especially. The first pay-per-view they did, I remember, what was it, Cody and Dustin?
That was so special.
Dude, I remember I was at a show, and I watched it, and I was tearing up, and I know both of them, and I'm tearing up. I know this is a work. That's when they had something, and they somehow lost that way, and now I just think they're just, they're grabbing people from the, I don't know, man. They're just overstuffing. There's so many guys and gals, and they all look like weird. There's just no gimmicks. There's no, not even weird. There's no precision. It's just like, let's bring in J-Bone from fucking, he's somebody in Florida that had a couple cool indie matches.
Yep.
Let's bring in this one from this place. He's, you know, did something. Nobody cares. It's when you're on TBS, when you're on TNT, it's bigger, and I just think that's like, I don't know. I don't even have I shouldn't have even brought this up because now it's going to open up some spider webs. But yeah, I just wish they would do better. I really want them to do better.
I think,
But they don't take a lot of veteran advice either.
I think what they're missing is that one or two character that actually leads them into
Yes.
a better alternative, because too many people, from what I see, are all similar. Everyone's doing the same.
Everyone's doing this, and it's this, bro. It's the same
it's
shit
sad.
to the point it's being parodied. Like everything, dude. I could go take a piss. I'll slap my leg. Everything is the same. Everything looks the same. And it's like nobody's had the balls to even see. Like, all right, maybe we should try something completely different. Let's try some characters completely different. It's like they're so like. It's like let's just whatever Dave Meltzer says. Let's follow that.
Yep.
And I think it's just not a good way to run a business. And I just want this place to stay there, because it's great to have another company. But when you have 3 wrestling, think about it, dude. Rampage, Collision, and Dynamite, and you're still not even drawing 1 million people. With all that money, you got Edge, Chris, this one, that. I don't even remember anymore who they got. They got everybody.
You sound like me every week. I say that every time we talk about AEW. Basically, minus the financial situation, they just like WCW. AEW.
They are WCW.
They have everybody.
They are WCW.
They have
Yes.
everybody, and you can't compel everybody. You can't do everything with everybody.
This is where when I said something about Pat Patterson, this is where you need a couple of them old school cats that have been in the business. I know you may not even agree with what they say, but some of them old school cats that will at least tell you, no, this is not how you. To me, I've never booked I haven't booked a goddamn anything ever in my life. But the way it was always taught to me was, where do you want to go? Like, for example, WrestleMania 3. Where do you want to go? Well, we want Hogan and Andre. WrestleMania 3. Okay, boom. Now you're always taught to book backwards.
Yep.
Now, how do we get there? The best way to get there. Nobody's even thinking of that shit, dude. They're not thinking of they got so many guys under contract, dude. They got so many guys that'll be on TV for 3-4 weeks, and then won't see them for the thing about you want to know why people bought television? Back in the day, Vince Sr., Vince Jr., they bought television because that's how you sold house show tickets. Like, we want people to come to Mohegan Sun, Hartford. We want to sell that. It's going to be me and you in Hartford. So how do we get there? Well, we'll do this angle on TV, and then you got to do that with all your people and figure out, like, a year in advance, like, where you want to go, whoever it may be. Whatever.
AEW is crash booking. It's all about the now. You right here.
You can't
right
do
here.
that. You can't successful. It's like a movie, dude. You just gotta like smoke a fucking joint and fucking figure out like how do you want to book this like in a way where fans are gonna. It's not that hard, bro. It really isn't that hard. And they have so many resources that they're just not. They're worried about chasing the dragon of whatever the sheets are saying and all these other people are saying. And WWE is just crushing it. They're crushing it. Even the new entrances. I saw Jey Uso walkout entrance on SmackDown. It's like they're even doing like new shit like on entrances like to transform their television product. And I don't sell that shit normally, but I'm like, okay, that was tight. That's Revolution.
Yeah.
You know, they're doing something different.
It seems like
Get a
WWE
crazy son of a bitch like fucking Steve to fucking just go out there and ramble. It's like, are you telling me there's nobody that hungry to take the reins?
I got a question. Did you see when Sabu appeared in AEW? In the suit?
I did, yes.
That threw me so off.
Yeah, I did.
What was that about?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I've been with Sabu since then. I don't know. I really don't.
John, you're kind of quiet. You the AEW guy, like.
I like AEW.
We enjoy AEW, but what you got to say? You want to,
I have so much to say about AEW.
Like, who's their champion right now?
Swerve Strickland.
Who?
Swerve.
Swerve.
I like. Yeah, he had a hell. He's. But that's the thing. It should be all about him right now.
Yes. Oh my God.
It should be. Dynamite should be this Swerve show. And they should be now slowly starting to. They have so much TV. Start getting your people to who's going to challenge this guy and threaten him. Get a faction. Do old, bro. I will go and look at old WCW tape. I'll straight up rob that shit, move for move, booking for booking, and just place it with these wrestlers.
There you go.
It works. It always
I'm
works.
just saying, like, if you're lost, if you need some help, like, I don't know.
Do you think AEW has too many titles?
I like titles, but I don't know, maybe.
You can't lead the question like that. Do you think they have too many titles? Let's speak about this right now. Go ahead, PJ.
I like titles. I do like titles.
I mean,
Dude,
so
I
do-
used to be a fan of the. I know, and I know nobody's gonna know what I'm talking about. But 1986, Barry Windham was the Western States Heritage NWA champion. Anybody remember the Western States title? Really?
That's a wacky
I
title.
seen it in
back
WCW
then.
on
You
the
could
NWA.
Google
I
it.
seen it, yeah.
Yeah, that's how much I like titles.
The Central States Heritage
I
Championship
love that
trophy.
because that means a jobber like me could get a belt, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I love that. No, I liked it. But that's the thing. As long as you use it to put it in, you know what I mean? You use it. If you're gonna build a title, use it. Have him like, oh, he's defending this title, bro. It's not even that hard. Be like, you know, you can even if you have nothing, you have so much TV to fill. Be like, well, the Continental title. There's a little, you know, there's these. I don't know what they're doing, so I might be speaking out of term. So please excuse me if I am. I don't mean to, but like, you know, just be like, you know, is Orange Cassidy the Continental guy?
Not
He
anymore.
was.
He was. Who's the guy?
Who is it now? It's Okada.
Is there Okada now?
Okada.
Oh, the big. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I mean, just be like, have a couple guys fighting over that a couple weeks. Like, use all that TV. Like Wednesday night, Friday night, and then Saturday night on Collision. Have the big fucking Okada match.
Orange Cassidy was really killing it
He was
every
doing
week.
really good.
The whole time he had that title. The first run, he had a second run,
The
but
thing
it
is,
was good.
it really does take, especially when you want to be conducive to an entire roster. You really want to make sure we're all like, let's take our guy. Like, who are we working with? Who are we? You know what I mean? And you got to make sure everybody's taken care of storyline wise.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and where do we want these guys to go? And I don't think they're taking that. It's about being intricate.
Yeah.
And I don't think, you know, I think they have ideas of like, okay, this guy should have the belt. Maybe he should. But like, I don't think they're, you know, it's got to be meticulous. They're being, I guess I would say lazy.
Yeah.
You know, and again, I'm not even watching it enough to say if it is or isn't. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, Dom's calling me out and for not defending the company, and he would
No,
ask me
listen.
questions a lot, and I would say, "Did you even watch?" He's like, "Tell me what happened on it. None of it makes any sense." I'm like, but you haven't watched the show in 3 weeks. How are you going to tell me that you don't understand what's going on if you literally haven't watched in 3 weeks? And then I tell you, and then you say that doesn't make any sense. I'm like,
I
you didn't
would
watch
love-
it.
I would
Reading a
love-
synopsis is not watching the show.
Agreed.
Talking,
Agreed.
you know, Swerve Strickland. You want a faction to get heat on Swerve Strickland? That's Christian with Buddy Wayne's wife and his kid and another guy. I think they ripped his brain out of his fucking head.
Yeah.
That's not heat. I don't know. Can I pull a brain out of your head, Dom? Can I do that? Will that create heat in New London? Perhaps.
Definitely not.
Okay.
You don't want that heat.
All right. Now let's all line up so Justin Credible can give us a shot.
No, that's good. I would just,
You know,
I would just love it if they really started to take time and just simply like, you know, put layers on it because they have so many good people. There's so much, and so many opportunities.
I'm saying the layers are there, but if you don't watch it, then you don't see it. What is the underlying layer? Swerve last fall, he kicked the shit out of Buddy Wayne's kid, Nick Wayne. Excuse me for not remembering his name properly.
I think you know what it is. And I could be wrong. So please, if I'm wrong.
Yeah, this is not a slope I want to go down, but if you want to go down the slope, here's where we're skiing.
I could be wrong.
You know.
But I just think the biggest fault I give them is not even that they don't do the stuff because I know they do. But it's like almost like if you're not a big like a loyalist, if you're not a huge fan of, I want it to be like, if I miss a week, I can still get it.
Yeah.
And that's all. And it's not a big. That's not even a big red flag. I'm just saying,
AEW is very hard to
they're
watch.
just always running like so much stuff.
It's hard to watch, not in the sense of the content. It's hard to watch in like, hey, I really should want to check that out. How do I get it? Oh, I need a $69 subscription to Fubo or something like that, TV or Sling. I don't have that. Right. Sorry, I got Peacock for $4.99 a month.
Right.
You know, easy to watch, easy to turn on anytime.
And that wasn't always the thing too, because TBS and TNT was,
Yeah.
that was the shit. That was the shit. That was the major. Like that was more of a number one cable network, especially because of the NBA.
That's true.
Than USA was. You know, and it's gonna keep changing. It's gonna in the future that's gonna keep changing.
Let's hope that it changes for the better though, because cable is just dying out.
It's a shame. I miss cable. I don't have cable, but I miss cable.
I believe TNT was on channel 39. It was awesome. You know,
Back in the day.
back in the day, scrolling through back and forth.
All right. That's enough AEW talk.
You started it.
It's only been 5 minutes. And that's
Seemed like forever. Seemed like an eternity. Anyways, I
Now
want
you
to
know
talk.
what we deal with.
I want to talk about Paul Heyman, the wise man.
Yes.
Tell me about this guy. Like, how is he backstage? You know, he has a mind, like a great mindset for all these characters. He knows like who's the next top talent and whatnot. Like, how is it working with Paul Heyman?
You really didn't work with Paul, and I'll explain. He was just you just showed up, dude, and he was just. Here's the best way I can explain it. The day I won the World Heavyweight title, which should be the biggest day of my life, I show up. Another day at the ECW arena. I look at the sheet with the matches. Oh, I got nothing. Oh, I have an interview, segment 5. Okay. So I really don't even have to get dressed, whatever. 20 minutes before I'm supposed to go on, Paul Heyman tells me, oh yeah, Tommy Dreamer's winning the belt from Taz tonight. You're going to go in there, cut a promo, and beat him for the ECW World title. You're coming out the World Champion. Literally 20 minutes before I have to go out there. Nothing worked out. Didn't speak to anybody about this. Nothing. All of a sudden, I got to get changed into my gear because I have to have wrestling gear on. And I basically saw Tommy out there. And as I'm kicking Tommy and hoisting that fat bastard up, I'm like, thank you, Tommy. Love you, Peach. Okay. And I'm the new champion. That's how much you did not know. And I don't think he did that because he knew. I think he almost did that just to fuck with people. I really do. He had to have known. You know? It's not like, what are you waiting on? The temperature to come down? It's 80 degrees. Dreamer's going over tonight. Or, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, you know what's going on. But I think it just kind of kept us all ready or on,
Kept you guys hungry, basically.
kind of, yeah.
Did you get a sense of a collaborative effort with Paul Heyman, or just more of a directive? Like, here's what you're doing tonight. How about this?
It was definitely collaborative.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. But
But you weren't leading to a world title victory at that time.
No.
No.
he would throw stuff at you, and if you had a rebuttal, like if there was something I had a question or anybody, of course he would, talk to you or explain or whatever. But dude, I never had to say shit to Paul. Paul, he was just always spot on because he always had. Paul couldn't afford to bury anybody.
Yeah.
He had to keep everybody good. Like, I never worried, oh, he's burying my character. I'm not going to be on TV next week. It's like, no, I'm fucking just incredible, dude. I'm going to be in the main, you know what I mean? I'm going to be there next week, as well as all the other people. Because he needed everybody's collaborative effort to make it.
So that must have been a lot of trust in him. Because
I trusted him with everything.
Because if you're
And I'll tell you one thing, and I always get in trouble for saying this. He bounced checks to a lot of people. And I don't know why, and I really don't know why. I swear to God, it's not because I'm super good or I'm super important. He never not paid me. Like he would bounce a check, and then he would just be like, because I live to this day. I think somebody mentioned I have Jersey plates, because I do have Jersey plates in my car. I live between my mother-in-laws, and I have an apartment in Connecticut, my wife's family. So I've always lived in Jersey. Like I've always had a little spot in Jersey. So if Paul bounced a check to me, he's like, just drives by Westchester, 'cause that's where he is, still to this day, and I'll cut you another check. And he always made that good. So he was always, there was a lot of shenanigans, but he was always good to me. Always. He never, when it all said and done, he never owed me a dime. A lot of people say that, I think, just to make it sound cool.
Yeah.
But to me, he never owed me anything. So, and I'm not at, I haven't talked to him in 20 years, and he's not going to do anything for me, nor would I look for him to do anything for me. That being said, he was good to me. So,
Yeah. That's fair.
That's good respect.
How aggressive were the wrestling groupies?
not aggressive enough.
I had to ask the question.
Well, the problem was, it's not a problem. I got to watch
I
that.
heard the P word come up in the conversation earlier.
Well, my wife worked for the company for from '98 to 2000. She worked the table, the T-shirts, the merchandise. She was there with me through the whole thing, and so I was married with her. So I never got to partake in said action.
So you say I'm
No, she was literally there. Trust me, if
Shane,
I could have
Shane,
if I could have sideways some shit, I would have.
Don't worry, I got your back. I got to see him tomorrow.
But no, but it wasn't as much as you would think. It was a dude fest. It was a dude fest. No, not a lot of chicks.
That's usually how the indies are. A lot of dudes.
That's what I was going
A lot
to
of
name the
dudes.
show.
A lot of dudes. Yeah.
All right, so after ECW went down and out, you returned back to the WWF.
Yeah.
The invasion eventually took place. What are your thoughts about that? Because that was one of my favorite times, but it really didn't live up to all the hype.
It was, I don't know, man. It was to me, it was a shit show. It was a lost cause because I knew, well, I think we all knew that the invasion, if it was real and if it was really going to be shown in that light of what it should have been, it should have been great. It should have been amazing. But when you work for Vince, it's like he's never going to put over another company as a threat. And he did some little angles on Raw and stuff, but it was never going to be anything, And I don't even want to get into it because it's just me talking garbage. It's worthless, not interesting. He had no intentions of doing anything at all.
You're a part of the invasion, but I wouldn't necessarily lump you in with, the kickoff would be like Lance Storm literally kicking somebody. But you were right there right before that with X-Pac and Albert.
X Factor.
Right before that. So
It was all
it was all a blur.
No, it wasn't a blur. No.
Hey,
It
remember?
wasn't a blur.
Yeah.
It was just bad business.
Oh
Because
yeah.
when I got in with Pac, we wanted to do it for a long time. Me and Kid, we were friends since the Click.
Yeah.
So that was a plan that we wanted to do. We thought, because if you think about the talent depth in that era, they had everybody, dude. The tag teams were like Hardys, Edge and Christian, and all those cats. And it's like, and the IC belt. I was never going to come in and be like a top guy, but could we do something in the tag team scene? Inject some fresh blood into that? Fuck yeah, we could. And Michael Hayes, he came up with this idea. There was supposed to be a six-man. They were going to come up with the six-man tag titles because they had Bubba, Devon, and Spike. So they were going to have me, Albert, and Kid. And they were going to do the six-man tag team titles. And they were going to bring in other, maybe do the Hardys with Lita, have her be like...
Freebird rules.
Like, right. Yep. And then, right before that happened, everything goes down with WCW, and you know, Vince,
Yeah.
you know, and then it's like, so it turns from that cool shit that we could have done to the alliance. So then you just get lost in the shuffle.
Yep.
You know, I went from a spot. You know, I could be a 6-man tag team champ. You know, with Pac and Albert, and you know, fighting with the Hart, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? What I just said. And then all of a sudden, like now, like other shit just entered the universe, and you're like, it's all scrapped.
Yeah.
That's how quick your life could just. That's why wrestling sucks, dude. Is you can go from having like some amazing shit to, wow, like, yeah.
You're remembered, and then you're kind of forgotten.
It's then you wonder why I'm fucked up. You know, Jesus, I'm a human being. God damn it.
You know, we did have our first wrestler interview was with Scotty Riggs, one half the American
Scotty's
Males.
awesome. Yeah, I love Scotty.
And you know, just random memories came up. And after we did that interview, I was just thinking, it's like, you know, all these wrestlers, these shows that we've seen as kids, and they just the smallest memories. Like, who is Scotty Riggs? You know, really, and just a small part of us growing up, and I have a same memory with you when you were in X Factor, and it was like a backstage segment, and X-Pac, I think he had the light heavyweight title, Albert had the Intercontinental title, and they were messing with you, like, where's your belt? And they give you like a little tiny replica, like a wristband size one.
Yeah.
Random memory, sorry everybody,
That's all
just
right.
little memories that just stick out,
No,
like,
yeah.
"God, why do you, it's in the headspace, you know?
But that's what they should have been doing more and more of, is to create those moments for more and more people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I feel today they don't do as much. You know what I mean? Those were, you know,
Yeah.
even I had to think about that one. But if somebody remembered that, that's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, it's
You
just
know?
a throwaway segment, but it's like, man, I remember that.
Yeah, that's what it's about. You know.
I want to
That's
buy
what
one of
it's
those
about.
little replica Intercontinental belt
I
things.
still want one. Shit.
We got a few more minutes left. Any regrets in the building or in the business? Anything you would? What would you tell yourself if you were starting the business now? Like your mindset right now. Like what would you say to yourself if you get into the business again?
What not to do, basically.
What not to do?
Wow. I wouldn't say what not to do. I would say save your money.
No.
Yep.
I was always told at a young age, like, yeah, you have to understand you're 19, 20. And I had great people like Tony Gurria, Pat Patterson. I don't know if you know Pat Patterson or Tony Gurria, but Pat was one of my, you know, he was a huge influence. And he's like, save your money, kid, save your money. And I'm like, Pat, you know, he goes, trust me. And I didn't understand it. Like, it's like, oh, dude, you know, like they would literally like be so cheap. Like they would skimp on a dinner where I'd be like, you know, I'll buy dinner tonight, boys, or let's go out to the bar. I got the tab. You know, I'm naching it tonight. Woo! I'll take care. Because you're grateful. You're grateful. You want to take care of your boys, your buddies. You want to have a good time. But at the end of the day, like it also evaporates so quickly, and you don't realize it. You know, what the hell just happened?
I don't know. Cheap pop.
Anyways, I just wish I would have, you know, because I haven't made it, like, I've made a ton of money, but I made enough money. I've made over $1 million in this business, which is not a lot, comparatively speaking. But still, if I would have saved a little bit, I wouldn't have to be in the position I am today asking him for $60. Back at it. That's the rib. I'm doing the rib. Yeah. But no, it's like I wish I would have saved my money. Because, you know.
Not just pro wrestling advice, life advice.
Yeah.
Just save your
Yeah,
damn money.
it's pro wrestling advice. Because life, you could always get another gig. Pro wrestling, you can't just, you know.
That's true.
It's a weird animal. It's a weird animal.
All right, done.
Can you still cut a promo?
Can I still cut a promo?
Yep.
Funny thing is, I mean, it's subjective to me. I think I'm a better promo today than I ever was in ECW. Because if you really think about the timeline, and this is going to actually show me how much of a loser I am, but listen, like the last time I was on national television was 2006 for Vince's ECW. Before that, it was 2002, 2001 for Vince and then ECW. And through the independents, I've actually done a lot more work that nobody's ever seen. And I'm actually a way better speaker, way more confidence, and kind of know how to present myself. Like I wish I would have, you know what I mean? Had that. Yeah, because I'm way better. I mean, again, you know, because when I did it back then, I was just an amateur. I was just still a kid. That's the thing. Like that's the one thing I hate. I feel like I should be on VH1 behind the music. It's like I'm a one-hit wonder, but I'm not. But all my career, like the spotlight came early, and there's still so much more that nobody will ever get to see. And I get it. I understand why, but yeah. So I hope that answers it.
You want to cut one to end the show?
Huh?
You want to cut a promo to end the show?
Well, what do you want me to say?
Yeah.
The what?
Hype up horsepower.
No. You gotta
It's
think
1994. It's a Raw taping.
No,
in
don't do
Manhattan
that.
Center.
No.
it's hard because, like, you know, there's
Putting him on the spot. How dare you?
No. I don't mind, but it's like, it feels silly. It feels silly because it's fabricated. See, a lot of the times when you do these things and when they matter, it's you actually have I hate to say this, it's corny, like the actors say this. What's my motivation? Like, what's my motivation? I'm just being an idiot. You know what I mean? And I can't, you know, I'll just be yelling and screaming and acting a fool. So, I'm good.
Well, PJ, this is the It Doesn't Matter podcast, so it doesn't matter. you can put it out there.
Dom's a motivator, instigator.
Motivator, instigator, I am the notorious one.
Oh, yeah, you know. Yeah. Make me laugh, funny guy. I'm like,
Funny
I'm
how.
gonna have to do something.
Exactly.
All right, hold on. Hey,
What?
don't you dare look at me like that again. No, I saw what you did. Don't you fucking dare look at me like that again. I've been sitting here the entire goddamn time, doing everything you want, walking like a fucking puppet for you. You think you can control me? God damn it. Don't you dare. I am the ECW hardcore icon. I am a goddamn fucking legend in this business. And I will tell you one thing. From 1992 till I stepped that fucking foot in that goddamn ring till right now, I will fucking... I can't even do it. I can't do it.
You were good. You were good.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Oh,
You see me smile too much.
He's making me laugh. I can't
You were
do
good.
it.
You were good.
Anyways, that's as best as it's going to get.
oh.
I couldn't do it. But anyways,
Anywho.
he's too sweet.
Oh, you don't know the devilish side on him.
You didn't see me set up.
Hey, look, there I am, killing people. Hey.
Oh, God.
You guess how you're gonna leave him after you're done.
Yeah, there he is, right there. Oh. Look at Dreamer.
Kick in the nuts. No.
Oh, Tommy, hogging the spotlight again.
Anyway, Dom.
1, 2, there you go.
There you go. That's how we're going to end the show. Just Incredible with the win. Justin, thank you for being on the show. We appreciate you.
I'm sorry I was late.
It's all good. It doesn't matter.
I suck, guys. I'm sorry.
No,
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Go outside and smoke a cigarette.
Yes,
of course, brother.
Hold on. Well, thank you guys for coming to Horsepower. Thank you guys for having Just Incredible in the building with us. I'm the notorious one. I am Dom. I'm here with Stratfax. I'm here with Poppy Platino. And this guy right here, he's not just the coolest. He's not just the best. He's just incredible. Woo!
Thank you
Next
guys
time.
so much, man. It's been a pleasure.
Boom.
God bless, and it's really been awesome. So thank you so much. Have a great one.
Thank you.